That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the live show. And of course, you already see who we talk about. Hold on. I gave it two away. I got two used to something. Hitting buttons too quickly. You don't know that was all illusion. You don't even know what we're talking about. So, first and foremost, new episode 124 drop today. So go check that out. We had Rochelle T. Parks, your health motivator, but we didn't just talk about health because I'm chubby. Hello. We talked about business. We talked about the transition from military to civilian, building a brand, making 500K in a month with less than 10K followers. We talked about all that. So go check that out. And then, of course, if you're watching this on YouTube and we add value to you, like this video, and super thanks and super chats are appreciated. And if you're on Facebook, stars are appreciated and likes and shares are appreciated as well. Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, feeling incredible. I'm so excited for this, considering all of what's been happening in our personal, I guess not personal, but professional trajectory. And we're exploring different segments. So I'm excited to have someone from this space that we're so inspired by to share some insight and help the people. So this is going to be a fun dialogue.
This is a fact. So you already know, if you've listened to the podcast, maybe read the description in our show notes and on YouTube and things like that. You may have heard about Ecamm Live. You may. I mean, they are like the sponsor of Nikki and Moose, but it's okay if you haven't. Moose thought of this really dope idea of bringing one of our favorite people on to kind of talk about the day in the life, the marketing secrets, the what we don't know about tech, and then some of the new announcements that they have. But we're just going to get all in her business. I don't know. Moose, break it down a little bit more.
Yeah. So listen, folks, I mean, look, first off, if you're tapping in with us, please make sure you let us know where you're checking in from. I know we're on two platforms today, streaming from both YouTube and Facebook. Welcome to the club. Settle in, grab a notepad and a pen and all that good stuff. We're really going to go to work here. I think this is going to be super helpful for you. If you're a creative, looking to scale a brand, start a business, scale a business, whatever it is, this should be incredibly helpful for you. So again, let me know where you're checking in from. Hey, that challenge is still going, by the way. I think we've peaked at about, 60, 70 viewers or something like that, live simultaneously on the chat. And I said, hey, if we hit 100 live viewers, we're going to be giving out some $100 bills for some cash prizes. So that's still up. So y'all make sure you share this and tell a friend to tell about 5 other friends so that we can grow this community. So let's do it. But either way, so I'm so excited to set this up. Nikki told you Ecamm, phenomenal company and all amazing stuff for all-in-one digital streaming platform that has taken off. And we're so excited to be able to have the marketing director, our really awesome, cool marketing director and friend that we've met once in Texas, Katie. Katie, are you there?
I'm here.
Let's go.
I'm so excited.
Go. Man, we're so excited to have you, honestly. How are you feeling?
Good, really good. I love that you push all the buttons. It's like fills me with excitement when all of the horns and everything go off. I think it's so much fun.
Absolutely.
There we go. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, hey, listen, we wanted to talk with you about, of course, the story of Ecamm. I think a lot of people now see Ecamm where it is, and it's like, oh man, this is like a really cool platform that I can utilize to maybe start a podcast or stream onto my different meetings and look really cool and have everyone be jealous of how my camera looks better than theirs, and they're wondering how I look so sharp. But can you give us maybe just a quick backstory about Ecamm, how it started, why it started, and maybe when you even got introduced to the company and took on as marketing director.
Yeah, absolutely. So you may not know this, but Ecamm has actually been around for over 20 years. Our co-founders are twin brothers, and they started a business in college to build helpful apps for Mac. And it actually started, I think, originally out for Palm Pilot, if we can go way back, but Palm Pilot solutions. And their belief is always, let's make really easy to use tools that make life better and easier in the digital space. And so, they had really grown. They had built a product called Call Recorder for Skype that just made it really easy to record your Skype calls, take everyone back into the Skype days. And this was a really super popular app. And then, live streaming became a thing, and Facebook Live moved into the space. And Ken says that he just started seeing billboards, like Facebook was actually doing like billboards on the side of highways. And he was like, well, this, like, if Facebook is spending money to have that weird level of marketing from a digital platform, then we should look into this. And so Ecamm Live was born. I joined the team in 2019, in the summer of 2019. So really awesome, phenomenal timing from my perspective, because it went from being a pretty small but really dedicated user base to the huge what we call the Ecamm fam today, which is thousands and thousands deep. So it's been a really incredible journey and really fun, and I just feel so honored that I've been able to be a part of it, because it's been quite a ride over the last few years for sure.
Wow.
I didn't know all that. Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
Twin brothers, 20 years. What?
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So I want to know more about you, though. That's
Okay.
I'm selfish. All right. I'm selfish. All right. How did you get involved with Ecamm Live? Like, what is the role, and like, what is your day to day? Because I mean, working with two twin brothers who's been doing this for a minute, it's like, where do I fit in? Kind of like, so talk about your roles and why Ecamm Live.
Yeah, absolutely. It was all pretty serendipitous, actually, at least from my perspective. I've been friends with Ken for a really long time. I knew Glenn here and there from, parties and things that he had turned up at. And I was in this point in my career where I really, really wanted to have a high level of ownership on something. I had worked for a number of different companies, both startups as well as larger, corporations, but I had always kind of joined at the wrong time, or, I was like part of a team, but didn't really get to finish launching something or finish building something, or, I had joined halfway through and didn't really get to start it. So I had really just craved something where it felt a lot more hands-on, and I could really see how good a marketer I was, I guess, for lack of a better description. So Ken and I had a couple of conversations about Ecamm, and he was like, we've never really done any marketing. We think we probably should, but we just don't even really know where to start. And so I joined their team initially as a contractor to help them figure out what kind of marketing they wanted to do, and what kind of projects they wanted to bring on. They had all these influencers. Ken and Glenn have always been really fantastic at building a really strong community. They listen to their users, they work really closely with them. And so they had a Facebook group, a community, which has grown to become what we call the Ecamm fam, but they had this small group. And these people, similar to you two now, really wanted to be involved. They wanted to give back. They wanted to, bring Ken and Glenn onto streams. And that wasn't Ken and Glenn's thing at all. So
Right.
I really joined to kind of be, someone to work with these influencers, someone to figure out what kind of marketing they needed. My day to day, that's a great question. It varies really, really wildly. We do a lot of community marketing. We do a lot of affiliate and influencer marketing. I work really closely just with all kinds of creators on all kinds of different projects. So we have a number of, workshops and live shows and mini series and podcasts. We're just constantly creating content or working with others who are creating content. So I'm usually at some point in that journey. So either, recording, doing interviews, live streaming, or, building up the promotional plan for recording videos, live streaming, podcasting, or events that we're doing.
That's so cool. That's so cool. So at 2019, I imagine you came just before the big burst, right? Where pandemic
Yeah.
happened, everyone is scrambling for some level of streaming or online service. Do you guys know maybe how much the company grew by in that maybe 12 or 18-month period? I can imagine it was bananas, but
It was bananas. Yeah, I mean, hundreds of percents. um, it was, we certainly, I couldn't even begin to tell you, 10 times our business, 20 times our
wow.
business. But it was really, again, it was really, the timing worked out really well for us because, I had joined the team first as a contractor and then jumped on full time about 8 months or so before the pandemic hit. I remember the March, like weeks before everything shut down. We were actually at Social Media Marketing World together as a team, and it was kind of the like first time that we were all together, and we had worked together on a booth design, and we were all there, and it was kind of the last thing that we did together as a team before the whole world shut down. So I'm proud and feel really lucky that I had a good amount of time to kind of put process and structure and a marketing plan in place, so when everything did hit, we had a good enough base, and we had a really solid plan so that we were able to support all of the huge influx of users that were coming in and the huge influx of questions that were coming, when we were able to really work with our partners and create a really, I think, fantastic environment for people to create and to learn and to make that huge pivot from the real world space into this virtual reality.
Nice, nice. If I can double back just quickly, Nix, I want to ask Katie, where where did marketing start? Like, what was the beginning of marketing like? I mean, even if you were to think about it today, let's say you had to start over, all over again today, and thankfully you don't. But if you did, what is marketing? How do you start marketing for Ecamm? What does that look like?
That's a really great question. Again, I think I'm lucky in some ways in that marketing is like quote unquote easier for a live streaming and video production tool because the the tool itself is so easy to use and makes people look fantastic in a public way. And so for me, I've always approached it in, if we can really come at this maybe less from a marketing and sales standpoint and more from a community and education standpoint, if we can make people really feel confident and shine and look and sound their best, they are going to, continue to talk about what tool they're using, how they're doing it, how they are feeling and looking this good on camera. And that's been really successful for us. I would probably do it the exact same way if I was going to start over, is really, working with all of those creators and figuring out, what they are doing and where their creativity is. And they're the ones that, I mean, you guys, like everyone out there watching, all of the content that you are all creating, your shows, your podcasts, your reels, all of your video content, you get better every single time you do it. You look incredible doing it. And, that in itself is just a nonstop testament to software like ours, so, and to what the possibilities are. So for us, it's always started with our customers and with really understanding intimately what their challenges are, where they feel like they're winning, and how we can make them look and sound their best, because when they win, we win.
Mm.
These are true. They're true statements. So you kind of mentioned some of the different ways as far as like with us, the podcast, reels, and just like pre-recorded stuff. But what are some unique ways have you seen within the community how people use Ecamm Live? Even if it's just unique topics, like what things are you're like, how did we make this work?
Gosh, I used to say magicians were my favorite, because when the pandemic hit, anyone that was like physically on a stage had to make this, huge change into a virtual space, and they had to be really, creative and clever about how they were engaging with their customer base or their fan base. Yeah, I guess I marveled with the scope of what's possible. So, I mean, there's certainly the things that are more, obvious, I guess, where there are, a ton of podcasts and live shows that are going out across a number of different platforms. But, we have people who are using Ecamm into software like Zoom or Teams or Meet, and they're leading, whiteboarding sessions with their teams, or they're recording sales pitch, videos that are really personalized and impactful and creative, and they're reaching and pitching new clients that way. Sporting events, any kind of live events, whether they are moved into the virtual space or they're, at the event and broadcasting it out across a number of different places, fundraisers. I just think people have really unlocked and figured out the potential of video and what's possible. And now we're in a space where the creativity feels really endless.
With that, I got to follow up real quick. From the audience, what are all the functions of
Oh
Ecamm?
gosh, we'll be here all night. So Ecamm has 3 different sides to it. So it can help you live stream, which we're doing right now. So you can go out to any of the major sites. So that is inclusive of YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and then through RTMP to all kinds of different places. So if there is an opportunity, Ecamm can feed out your live stream out that way, or multi-stream. So take your stream out to all those places at once. We have a recording tool, so you can record video in a number of different formats. So whether that's vertical video for TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts, or that is a widescreen video format like what you're seeing right here. We have a number of tools within Ecamm that let you do this kind of live to tape format. So there's not a lot of editing tools within it, but you can certainly plan out your entire show in advance and really be able to flow through it really easily with all of your music and sound effects and lower thirds that come in across, so that you can really create a pretty cool show. And then the third side is a virtual camera, which is always a little bit tricky to explain, but basically everything that you could and potentially are outputting to places like YouTube, you could instead send that video feed. So send everything you're creating in Ecamm out to any other video app. So you could send it out through to Zoom and Teams and Meet, any of the video conferencing platforms, webinar platforms. And I think that's really been that side of it's been the really big growth potential for us this last year. All the business professionals who, don't want to just keep doing PowerPoint presentations. They want to stand out from the crowd. They want to play too. They want to have awesome, Nikki level sound effects. They want to right? They want to look great on camera. They want to sound great. They want to be able to have, cool graphics and GIFs and things that fly in and have movement to them. And so a tool like Ecamm makes it really easy for them to plan all that out and be able to give a really impactful presentation that's really different from what you would traditionally see in kind of that slideshow, setting or format.
So cool. So cool. Katie, one of the things that we're so big on with our audience, whether on the podcast or even here on the live show, we're so big, and I'm starting to see like these certain consistent themes and pillars that we touch on. One of them is always, always, always partnership and collaborations, right? And I look at how Ecamm has been able to successfully partner with, from one side of it, the marketing side, a lot of different influencers, as you mentioned, or community members, but also partnering with the platforms. So the most recent partnership with Instagram to be able to now stream from Ecamm onto live and onto YouTube and all these different things. Can you talk a little bit about what goes into partnering with a platform? And then maybe some details also about partnering with an influencer, because that essentially is
Why
marketing
us?
all in all.
He's so politically correct. Why us?
The
You
platform,
always
though.
ask that because you're
Put some emphasis on the
awesome.
platform too, please.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. And actually, I wish I had a better answer for you. We actually don't work very closely with the platforms. I wish we did, and we would like to, but a lot of them are so large and hard to reach that you're constantly kind of getting bounced around to different, to different reps and different managers that you're working with. And so a lot of times we are solving challenges that we've heard from our customer base. So, in the case of Instagram, that was, a ton of customers who were petitioning both Instagram and tools like us to be able to say, we want to do this. We want to, we want to be able to have more control. We want to be able to do desktop streaming. We want to be able to do this. And so the timing really worked out well, where, it had been something that we had been, keeping a close eye on, so that the second that Instagram unlocked that, we'd be able to slide in and make it work for everyone. And in cases, for example, like Amazon, we recently added the ability for you to not only stream to Amazon Live, but also pull in comments and viewer count and new follower announcements and things like that. And again, that was just really spending time in that platform and figuring out exactly how it works and how Ecamm can best connect into it to be able to unlock that feature that's so important for our customers. So a lot of it actually comes down to really understanding what our customers are trying to accomplish. And because there's so many of them across so many different categories, really paying attention to what matters most and taking all of that feedback and then figuring out how we can make it work with the platforms. Other platforms like LinkedIn, for example, we've been working really closely with their team, which is kind of an exception to the rule, but it's also moved very slowly because their team is very, intentional about what they're doing. And so, it's funny that that's the one that we have probably the best relationship with, but that's the one that we still haven't gotten so many of the features that we're looking for. So I think it varies by platform, but that's the answer to your to that side of the question.
Yeah.
Why you guys, or why the influencers, the partners that we work with? I mean, for me, it comes down to relationships. And I think, the people that we work the closest with are the ones who are excited about the tool and, and are doing cool things and are, pushing boundaries and really care deeply about their community in the way that we care about our community. So, we're not just looking to get Ecamm out there and to kind of do this big branding play where we're advertising everywhere. We are building and supporting a customer base that cares about the quality and about their communities and who they are trying to reach. And so we can't work with everyone. We're actually pretty small, even though we have a huge base. Our team is only 9. And so, we are really intentional. We really try to be able to have a really great representation of all different kinds of creators and all different kinds of voices, so that our customer can see themselves in the influencers and the people that we work with.
I like that. Okay. That was a nice politically correct answer. I like that. I like that. Actually, I got a dope question is about features, as far as with having a community, and I think this could translate for our people who are growing brands and things like that. Yeah. But with having a community that's always giving feedback, right?
Yeah.
About, we want this feature, we want this to happen, we want the text to fly in, then out, then go, and then bring it back, and then bring AI into it and tell me exactly what I'm supposed to write and say in this video. What is the process of, hearing all these different opinions, feedback, and kind of just a strategy of, okay, this is good. Where does this fit in our release map? Do we not even listen to them and go more towards what we want and then give it to the people and test it out? Like, how do you guys go about listening to the community and releasing these new things? Like, I've been dying for the video isolation. Praise God, with 4.0, it is out. And so if y'all don't know what that is, you didn't need it. But when you have it, you are going to love us. I'm just saying. But yeah, talk about that process.
That's a really great question. There's probably no easy answer. We have, as you both know, a really enthusiastic group, and there is a never-ending list of feature requests. I mean, some of it is we're thinking through groups of audiences and, and who our target audiences are for a particular year or for a particular release. So, the last set of features that went into version 4.0, for example, a lot of those were pretty production heavy, and we had just come off a year being really focused on production. So on podcasts, on larger production teams. And so, isolated video fit really nicely into that. That's been an ask for a really long time. And part of it is waiting for the right timing. And then part of it is waiting for it to be able to be released in a way that is going to work best for everyone. So that particular feature also came on the heels of Apple releasing Apple Silicon and, and having much more powerful computers available to everyone so that we would be able to do it in a way that would provide high quality and also not a huge strain on everyone's computers. I mean, the worst thing is like everyone asks for a particular thing, but they don't actually know, whether or not their computer can handle it or what that process is going to be like. And so we do walk some of those lines thinking through, okay, we can give it to them, but if we give it to them, like, is it going to be what they actually want? What is the challenge they're trying to solve for? What is the what is the mindset behind what they're asking for? So we keep this list of features. We take in, and as a team, we copy and paste them from, what we receive on Discord or by email, or during, live Q&As. And we have this list and we kind of just start grouping and paying attention to what those trends are, what those categories of features are. And then we review them against, what we've planned for the year and what some of the possibilities are and what's possible and how that kind of shapes the next release. So it's an iterative process. We probably could continue to grow that and do a better job of it going forward. But it's difficult to balance out everyone's asks and the really like specific ones. There's always, a few people who are like, I specifically need this font and this design and this, so, as general as they are, as wide that it would benefit an entire audience, or it would unlock an audience, who maybe are not using Ecamm yet because we don't have that feature. Multi-streaming was a big one for that. For us, it was not necessarily a feature that we felt was going to, be game changing for Ecamm because most of our competitors have it, but it was one of those things where, we needed it because, our customers were having to go to other tools or add on other tools or not use Ecamm because it was something that they needed. So.
Speaking of features, and Nikki mentioned these two letters, AI. What is what if any is in the pipeline, or just what do you think about this whole AI burst of attention that is popping out of nowhere? What do the folks at Ecamm start to chat about as it relates to that?
And I got an idea if you don't have one.
You're not going to talk after the show. We don't have a specific. We've been sort of taking the wait and see, or keeping an eye on it, or listening to how people are using it and what their questions are and what their concerns are around it. So I can't say I have like a specific feature in mind related directly to AI. We get a lot of questions about, how can live streamers and content creators and podcasters use AI really effectively, which we've been thinking a lot more about and trying to, figure out ways to best support there. But yeah, I can't say I have a specific feature in mind. It's certainly really awesome what's possible. We have a little bit of it now because we have, with version 4, we've partnered with Descript. And so we have a post-production button now that you can hit when you're done your live stream or your recorded video, and it sends your video right through into Descript so that you can leverage some of their AI tools and their video editing capabilities. But yeah, no, Nikki will have to come up with all the genius ideas there. I don't have a good one yet.
I'll give one small one.
Live for the people.
Live for the people. Okay, this is what I do. So when you go live on Ecamm, right? There's a title, depending on what platform that you go. You have a title and a description, and people struggle with sometimes thinking about titles and exactly the description it is. it would be dope for a person to type in the title, to highlight it and say ask Ecamm AI, and it actually gives you different options of what good titles would actually be, or be like highlight it, hey, give me a better reword of this video description, and Ecamm AI can do that. I'm just saying.
We're gonna call that feature the Nikki.
I just saying.
I love it.
That's
Apply
just
the
one of the
Nikki
ideas.
over.
This one.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, and that has sort of been the main talking point and the main suggestion that we've been giving people as, as they think about that, is that, most people know what their topic is week over week, or, what their niche is for where they're creating. So I think being able to leverage that to really nail the SEO, which is often difficult for people, is hugely impactful. Or, Doc had a great suggestion on we do a weekly podcast called The Flow. And he was saying last week that, we have this process where we live stream our podcast. So we live stream in front of our YouTube studio audience, quote unquote. And and then we take that video, we send it in through Descript, and we create video clips, and we grab the transcript. We do a bunch of work there. And he said we should take the transcript from one of the video clips, send it through to AI, have AI, rework it or summarize it, and then we could put it back into Descript and use overdub, so with our own voices, to actually just create a new video or an audiogram that has our voices. So you can almost do like multiple layers of repurposing with the help of AI. So I think there's lots of really cool possibilities. We have friends who were on today on the podcast that they have a AI story time on their website. So they their Discord can basically suggest story topics. They have a sports podcast, so they within the sports world, and their AI tool writes a story that they post on their website every week that's about the topic. So I think there's really fun possibilities, but that's a smart way to be able to like actually have it built into Ecamm in some way to just make it easier for people. I mean, that's what we're all about. So I love it. We'll have to call it the Nikki though if we do it. Otherwise,
hey, Nikki AI told you to say this.
AI, exactly.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, Katie, you all have had some interesting things and exciting things happen over the last few weeks with the release of 4.0. Which we're definitely benefiting from. But talk to us a little bit about some of the cool new features that are out there, and maybe share some ideas around how creators can make use of those tools or features to really help them in their creative process.
Oh gosh, yeah. This release is just been awesome. I feel like a lot of the features people have been asking for a long time are finally out. We have a pretty long beta testing time, so it feels like they've been out for a while, but they are new. So multi-streaming is among the list. So now you can go to up to 10 destinations. With multi-streaming, we also have a built-in speed test, which I think is huge. The internet connectivity is always a question for streamers. So having that pop up automatically within Ecamm to say like, hey, you're good to go, or hey, you need to double check or figure out a different option there, I think is great. And especially as they're adding on more and more different destinations has been huge. We have isolated video, which Nikki was just talking about. So what that does is you can go into your preferences in Ecamm and you can say, hey, once we're done recording this or streaming this, I want just my video. I want just Moose's video. I want just Nikki's video. I want everyone's audio separate as well. And then you can be able to take all of those files and use them in post-production in your editing work to create all kinds of content, or to make any kind of edits that you need to. So I think, that one has been a really exciting one for a lot of people and unlocks a lot of potential. We've been joking that now you can just have Ecamm on 24/7. So every meeting you show up in, hit that record, grab your files. Every podcast interview you do, I've just been using that one nonstop. I'm like, well, just finish this up. I have my files, go send those over. I can clip them out into all kinds of different options. Even and I'm a terrible editor, but it's amazing what you can do when you just have access to all different kinds of angles. Or if we have a lot of creators who are using their hands and demoing things. So if you have an overhead camera, you don't have to be constantly switching back over to that camera. You can just be recording that shot and be able to use that later. It doesn't even have to be on screen. So I think that one's a big one. Edit into script, which I just talked about, is one of my favorites because it tightens up my my workflow, my process, to just be able to hit that button and have it open automatically into script for me, so I can do some of that post-production work, my light touch post-production work from my end. Oh gosh, what else were there? There was a bunch of them. I think those are most of the main bigger ones, but I think again, really. Oh, and there's a huge update to our camera switcher is the other big one.
Mm-hmm.
So again, and this kind of ties into having the ability to record isolated video and audio, but you have a lot more functionality, and it's a lot easier to be able to pull in a ton of different, camera sources. So that can include guests, which you can now have up to 10 guests if you want. It can include any of your cameras. Now, most of us who have newer phones and newer computers, your iPhone can come in automatically through continuity camera. So there's just a lot more options that you can do. And again, think about this, not just in the live streaming space, but what you can do with recorded video and what you can do even in a video conferencing tool. So it's really cool. All the teachers out there who were like, now I want to show you this other thing. And they had to like move their camera around or be like, okay, hang on, I'll have to call back in. Now they're able to leverage a lot more of what they have, even including their phone, to be able to demo and train people and do a lot more with video.
That's fire. So we actually got another question. Which marketing strategy is the most beneficial for Ecamm?
Oh gosh. Our biggest channel is referral and affiliate. So I'm going to say, we're probably in that space. So for us, it's a lot of community building, a lot of affiliate marketing, a lot of partnerships with influencers and other brands.
Okay. All right. I got an actual question. That wasn't my question. That was an actual question. So working with Ecamm, like, how does that give you pressure to create? Because I remember, like, from the very beginning where you were like, Nikki, I don't like doing this stuff, to now, look at her now, people. If you saw the journey, but like, talk about your own content journey.
It has been a journey. So for those of you who don't know me, we laugh now because, again, when I joined the team, there were these incredible influencers who have now become close friends of mine who were like, we want to bring you onto our shows, or we want we want to be on your show. When is Ecamm going to do a show? And so the first project that I took on when I started was, we did a live show, our first live show as a brand, called Meet the Pros. And we brought on, experts and influencers from our community to do these hour-long live interviews. I think at the time they were only on Facebook. And I was terrified. Like, if you had seen like up close, like my hand was just like shaking, and I like sounded on the verge of tears throughout. And I come from a theater background, so I love to be on stage, but the idea of having a camera pointed at me, and that for me, a lot of it was, I'm not from a video background. I'm not from an audio background. I'm originally a copywriter by trade. I am used to having time to clearly think through what I'm saying in an email, in a blog post, and website copy. So it was just really stressful. Again, I'm really lucky that I have such an incredibly supportive team. There were lots of moments where Ken or Glenn was like, oh, we can rotate off. I'll take this one today. Or, we can switch back and forth. And I had the time to kind of practice and build up a level of confidence. And shout out to the Ecamm fam, people who, again, now have really become friends, but they showed up when I felt like I was looking my worst, and my video quality was terrible, or, I felt like the internet was coming and going, or I was shaking when I was talking. They were in the comments being like, incredible value. Always so great to see you, Katie. Always, like, just cheering me on, and just so excited to be there to learn something new. And every comment restored my confidence, and every comment made me remember that it doesn't matter every single time about how good the quality looks. That'll come as you practice and as you get, more confident and better at it. But really, we're there to help people. And these were people who, it was the middle of a pandemic. They just wanted to know how to connect their camera. They just wanted to know, the answers to things that would make a difference in their business so that they could keep moving forward. And so for me, that really was the journey. It was just really scary, and I just had to do it because I wanted to win at this job. I wanted to help people. I really, really wanted to get to the point where I am now, where now it's fun and I love doing it. And I do it for fun as well as for work. And I never have moments where I'm like, I have to be on video again today. Now it's fun being able to connect with people and hear their stories and learn alongside everyone else. So yeah, it's been a blast.
I like
For
that.
sure. For sure. Hey, I can relate with that experience. Bad internet, terrible lighting, awful camera. My goodness.
Fear of
Uh,
someone asking a question. I was sitting there, I was just like, please don't ask me what microphone I'm using. I don't
uh,
know. I walked in,
yeah.
someone put it in
Yeah.
No,
front of
no,
me.
no.
Yeah, I was always just so afraid that like
Man.
I would look dumb or it would sound dumb.
Good old times. Good old times. Last question for you, Katie, at least from my end. When you look at the content creation space, we were so excited to be at the conference that you invited us out to for podcasters. That was so awesome.
Yeah.
And we learned about the importance of video. Like, if I can just take away one video, if I can sum up the whole conference in one word, it
Yeah.
was do video. It
Do
was
video.
it
Yeah,
was like
exactly.
do video. It was like
Yeah.
it walked out stapled in my mind. That's what you got to do. Is there anything that you're seeing from your lens for what the next trend may be? Is it still just, hey, do more video? Brands are doing it, companies are doing it, tech platforms are doing it, stay on video? Or is there something else that you're seeing from where you're sitting?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is still video or video first. I think it's also to a lot of other industries that haven't been in the video space are now here. So, it's a much more crowded space for many of us who have been in video for a while now. So, it's more competitive. So, I think it's not just a matter of just showing up. That's great and that's where we all need to start, but it is a matter of being really creative with it, understanding the platforms that you're sending video to and creating for those platforms. What you create in the video space on Instagram is not the same as what you're putting out on YouTube, is not the same as what you're putting out on Facebook. So, really understanding what's possible and letting your creativity and your authenticity really shine through in the videos. But again, it's video first, but there's an intentionality behind it and just a really good understanding of who you're trying to reach and why, and what are the technologies that are available to you to do it the best possible way.
That's good. That's really good.
I like that. All right. So my last question, right? What's next? What's could we get a sneak peek of one of the features that is possibly being worked on? I'm just saying. I'm just
4.1.
can we
Nikki's like 5. Let's go to 5.
it's just
Yeah.
like like 4.1, you feel me? Like, hey, we forgot this one.
Little sneak.
If there was, if there isn't, that's okay.
There is. No, there is. So yeah, we've really been having an amazing time moving again in this kind of production space, and I feel like our audience has grown up a lot with us. So people who started off with live shows are now doing these like huge live productions, really, and are really creating very high level television broadcast quality video across a number of these different platforms. And so the feature set that the guys have been working on in the last little bit, and what I think you'll see going forward from us, is a lot more collaboration and teamwork. So, really building out that green room space, really thinking through, what about people who have 100+ live viewers who are, sending through tons and tons of, incredible questions and comments. Can you have someone who is backstage, on a stream, being able to feed those questions or feed the best of those questions through to the host. Like how can we create Ecamm or update Ecamm in a way where teams can collaborate? So you have, a moderator and a producer and a space backstage where guests can move in and out of the broadcast really easily. So some of those features we don't have yet, but I think there's just a ton of possibility there to just really take it to the next level with productions, whether they're live or again are recorded or webinars and things like that. I think there's a lot of, now that we have these hugely engaged audiences, how can we really help our members be able to take it to the next level?
That's Sweet. So cool. So cool. No, hey, no more questions from my end. I asked my last. This has been cool. If you notice, selfishly, I asked a couple of questions that I really were for me, not so much the audience, but I figured, hey, we're all one. We can benefit from the same amount of things. But this has been awesome, Katie. Thank you so much for being an open book and always being so just transparent and sharing. Like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is what we're doing. This is how to do it. So this has been great. Thank you.
Oh gosh, I learned so much from you guys and from all the different, it's always neat to have this community of people who are creating content in my space. There's so many, amazing marketing podcasts and marketing shows out there that it's almost like difficult to try to consume them all, but it's really neat to see what people are doing and what how they're pushing boundaries and what they're creating next. I feel like I'm always learning. I'm definitely never close to where I want to be. Always trying to push the limits as much as I can.
Well, we appreciate you. For those people who have been like, okay, I like what I heard. I'm interested. What is this Ecamm live situation? Look, we talk about it every week. Y'all make me say it every single week. And I struggle with this, so I'm going to try it and not struggle. www.nickyandmoose.com/ecamm. That's ECAMM for your 14-day free trial on Katie, not us. It's on Katie. That's her.
I got you.
Yeah. She give it away for you guys. No, but no, it's amazing tool. We've been using it since day one of Nicky and Moose when it was a Facebook Live. Okay, we haven't used anything else. The team over there is amazing. If you have a problem, they literally email you in 2.3 seconds. It's really crazy, actually. They answer their DMs. They actually have to DM me on Instagram because I'm
we're there.
Very hard.
We have Instagram support just for Nikki.
Yeah, because they know email is not for me. And Facebook is definitely not for me. And I haven't gotten super soaked into Discord just yet. So
that's okay.
Yeah. One step at a time. I'm 116K on Instagram as today. So, I'm there.
There you go.
But people, Katie's going to say some last words. She's going to say some. We normally do that for the podcast, but she's going to say some last words and then we out of here.
What I usually say is that I believe in you. I know you've got this. You've got some amazing ideas. If you want to learn how to do it better with video, I am happy to share all of my screw-ups and failures along the way to get where I am right now. And we have a really amazing community. We have one on Facebook. If you're not a Facebook person, we have it on Discord. If you are neither of those, we're happy to just hang out with you, but get in touch. We're really accessible. You can find me, Katie, at ecamm.com. I am probably way too accessible on social media. So my last name is Fawkes, like the Phoenix from Harry Potter. So feel free to cyber stalk me and send me some messages. I really would love to get to know as many of you as I can. I feel like I learn from you as much as you could possibly learn from me. So it'd be great to get to know you and see what you're up to and help you get up and running with video.
That's it, people.